You feel the chill of the archive around you. It is a cold not of temperature, but of truth. The data fragment on Dr. Aris pulses softly. His theory was pure madness. Reality is a suggestion, a loose weave of rules that can be unraveled, and the chittering veil was pulling the thread. You thought this was the bottom of the rabbit hole. You were wrong. Another file unlocks itself. It is chained to the Aris data with warnings. So many warnings they almost feel like a dare. The file name is simple. It is Stark. Project Red Anvil. You open it. There is no preamble, no scientific abstract, only a transcript from a secret meeting. The date is terrifyingly close to the galaxy's final stand. A voice, identified as General Kalen, speaks. His words are etched in the recording with grim weight. He sounds tired. He sounds like a man who has buried too many worlds. The consensus is a lie, the general says. Our fleets cannot win. Our walls cannot hold. Every model we run ends the same way. A silent galaxy. A sky scrubbed clean of life and light. Another voice joins. She's labeled only as Director Anya Sharma. The consensus assumes we follow the rules. It assumes we fight their weapons with our weapons. This is a game we are guaranteed to lose. Her voice is steady. It is the sound of a blade being sharpened. So we change the game, the general replies. Dr. Aris was a madman, a dangerous heretic whose work was rightly suppressed. But madness is now our only strategic asset. You lean closer to the glowing archive panel. Your own breath feels loud in the silent chamber. They were actually considering it. They were looking at the abyss and thinking of what to throw in. Not a weapon, not a ship, something else entirely. Director Sharma's voice cuts through the recording static. Aris believed reality was a conversation. He said the universe agrees on certain principles. Gravity, the speed of light, cause and effect. The veil's power is simple. It convinces a patch of space-time to disagree. She continues her explanation. It doesn't blow up a planet. It persuades the planet that it never should have existed. The atoms unravel. The history erases. The light from its sun forgets it ever had a target. This explains the clean, silent void. The perfect emptiness where stars and worlds used to be. It was not destruction. It was a cosmic retraction. A silent and final edit. The general's voice is heavy. And your project director? Your Red Anvil. You propose we shout back. Not just shout, she says. We will deliver a new commandment. An axiom so fundamental it cannot be ignored. We will not convince the universe. We will overwrite its core programming. We will break physics to save reality. A long silence stretches on the recording. You can hear the faint hum of a ship's life support. You imagine the two of them in a dark room, the fate of everything resting between them. This was humanity's gambit. It was not a military plan. It was an act of profound cosmic heresy. The name, the general says, his voice low. Red Anvil. Explain it. The anvil is the unyielding foundation of our new law. Sharma explains. It is the point upon which we will strike. The forge where a new reality will be hammered into shape. It must be absolute, unbreakable. And the red, he asks. It is the color of the ink, she says softly. The color we will use to write our new rule. A rule so loud and so bright, it drowns out all others. A rule that simply says, we are here, and we do not unravel. Project Red Anvil. You finally understand. They were not building a bigger gun. They were building a better truth. A truth enforced by a celestial hammer. And they planned to strike the very heart of existence with it. The risk was unimaginable. Changing the fundamental laws could tear everything apart. could create a hell far worse than the Veil's silence. But they had no choice. Their backs were against a void that ate memories. When faced with absolute erasure, humanity chose to become the eraser. They chose to gamble the soul of the universe, all to prevent its utter annihilation. A data log flashes on your screen, a tactical report. It shows a star system you have never heard of, Elysium, and the report shows a fleet, the last human fleet. You open the log. The view is from a bridge command chair. The timestamp matches the Red Anvil meeting. A calm, female voice speaks over the comms. All hands, this is the captain. Status report. Her voice does not waver. It is a pillar of calm in a storm you cannot yet see. Responses trickle in from across the ship. Weapons are cold, Captain. We are running silent. Engineering reports all systems nominal. We are stable. Navigation confirms position, holding steady at the system's edge. They are not preparing for a fight. They are waiting. Through the main view screen, you see it. A darkness that is not dark. It is a hole in the stars. A patch of nothing that seems to bend the light around it. The chittering veil. It pours into the Elysium system, a tide of non-existence. It does not look like a fleet of ships. It looks like a wave of pure entropy. The captain's voice remains calm. They see us. On the screen, the nothingness changes. It coalesces, forms into countless sharp, crystalline shapes. They are the size of moons, each one a node of the Veil's hive mind. There are thousands of them. They fill the void before the lonely human ships. Against this tide, the human fleet looks like a handful of dust. They are not attacking, a tactical officer says. His voice is tight with confusion. They are. Ignoring us. They are moving past us, toward the inner planets. The captain leans forward. Of course they are. We are not the meal. We are just the garnish. They have a whole civilization to erase. We are an afterthought. This feels like a very human joke to make at the end of things. A small spark of defiance. Captain? The officer asks. What are our orders? There is a pause. The captain looks at the impossible enemy. An enemy that does not fight, but simply unmakes. Our orders, she says, her voice ringing with clarity, are to be an inconvenience. She stands from her chair. Our goal is not victory. Victory was never on the table. Our goal is time. We are here to make them notice us, to slow them down, to be the loudest, most annoying distraction in galactic history. Open all channels, she commands. Broadcast everything. Old music, bad poetry, stock market reports from 300 years ago, and every military distress code on file, on every frequency. Max power. The ship suddenly screams into the void, not with weapons, but with noise, a cacophony of useless data, a digital shout designed to irritate a godlike intelligence. You see the veils advance slow. The crystalline shapes shimmer with uncertainty. They were expecting fear, silence, resignation. They were not expecting to get spammed. They're turning, the tactical officer says, a note of awe in his voice. The forward elements are turning toward us. Good, the captain says. Now they are paying attention. Fire the welcome basket. One shot, center mass of their leading formation. A single lance of pure white light erupts from the human flagship. It crosses the void in an instant. It strikes one of the crystalline moons. The moon does not explode. It simply vanishes, erased by a conventional weapon, a weapon the Veil was not expecting. For a moment, there is silence. The Veil's relentless broadcast of non-existence falters. It is a silence filled with shock. The hive mind is confused. You see, the captain says to her crew, a faint smile on her lips. Even a god can be surprised. Now it knows we can hurt it. It will have to deal with us. It will have to take the time to erase us properly. And then the veil responds. The full weight of its attention turns to the human fleet. The empty space between the ships begins to warp. Reality itself groans under the strain. This is not a battle you can win. It is a sacrifice, a holding action. Every second they fight is another second for Project Red Anvil. The ship's camera shakes violently. Alarms begin to blare. The view screen cracks. But the captain's voice cuts through the chaos. Hold your positions. Be the rock in the river. Be the bone in their throat. Buy them that time. The recording distorts. It is overwhelmed by raw data. The last thing you hear is not screaming. It is not fear. It is the captain's calm voice giving one final order. Tell them. The anvil is hot. Then the log cuts to static. A perfect final silence. A silence bought with the lives of every soul at Elysium. They did not die for victory. They died for a few precious hours. Hours needed for a desperate plan. Hours needed for a project that would change everything. The sacrifice at Elysium hangs heavy in your mind. It was a calculated loss. A final defiant act of humanity. You now understand the cost of buying time. But what were they buying time for? The files continue to unlock. You find a personal log. It belongs to director Anya Sharma. The entry is a single video file. No notes, no context. Just her face. She looks older than in the meeting recording. The weight of her project is visible in her eyes. But she is not afraid. She is resolved. We found him, she begins, her voice quiet but firm. We found the anchor, the one who will hold the line, the fulcrum upon which we will pivot the universe. She takes a deep breath. His name is Elias Thorne, a linguistic historian, of all things. The file shifts. It now shows a man in a simple room. He is thin. He wears plain gray clothes. He could be anyone. He sits in a chair surrounded by strange, glowing machinery. This is Elias Thorne. He looks calm. He is sipping a cup of what looks like tea. Director Sharma's voice continues as narration. The project requires a singular consciousness, a mind vast enough to comprehend the change, and strong enough to survive it. Most minds we tested shattered within seconds. The scale is too great. The human brain is not built to contain a new law of physics. But Elias is different, she says. His mind does not see language as words. He sees it as structure, as the architecture of meaning. He told us that reality is just the universe's native tongue, and he believes he can learn to speak it. A small, sad smile touches her lips. He called it the ultimate linguistic challenge. Only a human would see cosmic alteration as a puzzle. The camera focuses on Elias. He places his teacup down. He looks into the lens. It feels like he is looking directly at you, across the gulf of ages. His eyes are unnervingly clear. Are we ready to begin, Director? He asks. His voice is gentle, patient. Sharma's voice answers off camera. Elias, you understand what will happen. You will cease to be you. Your mind will become the vessel. It will hold the collective intent of every human who has ever lived. A trillion souls, a trillion echoes of hope and desperation, all focused into a single point. Elias nods slowly. I will not be a person, he says. I will be a purpose, a living concept. The idea of survival made manifest. It is a small price to pay for a future. It is the greatest price anyone has ever paid. Sharma corrects him gently. He smiles. a genuine, warm smile. I was a historian. I spent my life studying the past. Now, I get to ensure there is a future to study. It seems like a fair trade. Besides, he adds, with a twinkle in his eye, someone has to teach the universe some manners. It has been getting away with far too much lately. The machinery around him begins to glow brighter. A low hum fills the room. Elias closes his eyes. He does not flinch. He does not tremble. He simply sits, a beacon of tranquility in the heart of the storm. The anvil is the foundation, Sharma narrates, her voice thick with emotion. The red is the new law. But Elias is the hand that will hold the pen. He is the mind that will think the new thought. His consciousness will be the lens, focusing all of our will, all of our defiance, into one unbearable, undeniable point of truth. The hum intensifies. Light arcs between the machines. It envelops Elias Thorne. His form begins to shimmer, to lose its distinct edges. He's becoming something else, not energy, not data, something new. He is not dying, Sharma says, as if to reassure herself. He is becoming. He is the anchor. When we fire the weapon, his mind will be the thing that catches the new reality. It will hold it in place, preventing it from tearing the cosmos apart. He will be the mind of 1,000,000,000,000 souls. The light engulfs him completely. For a moment, the room is filled with blinding whiteness. Then it subsides. The chair is empty. The machines are dark and silent. Elias Thorne is gone. But you feel something. A resonance in the archive data. A ghost in the machine. A sense of a vast, waiting intelligence. He did not die. He ascended. He became a living concept. A human idea powerful enough to stare down the void. He was the most critical component of Red Anvil. A soul brave enough to become the bedrock of a new existence. Now all the pieces are in place. The sacrifice, the anchor, the theory. Only the target remains unknown. What were they aiming at? You thought you understood the scale of this. You did not. The next data cache opens without a password. It feels less like a file and more like a memory. A final briefing. It is General Kalen's voice again, recorded just moments before the final broadcast from Earth. His words are for history, for you. If you are hearing this, he begins, then it worked, and we are gone. Do not mourn us. We chose this. We chose to become the architects of our own salvation, and yours. His voice is layered over star charts and complex equations. They scroll past your view. War plans unlike any you have ever seen. They do not show fleet movements. They show energy flows. The currents of star science itself. The lines of cosmic law. For months, the galaxy's finest minds fought the veil. They threw fleets at it. They threw supernovas at it. They even tried to collapse black holes on it. All of it failed. It failed because they aimed at the wrong thing. They treated the veil as an enemy to be destroyed. The charts shift. They zoom in. Not on a star system, not on a galaxy. They zoom in on something that looks like the code of the universe. A set of fundamental rules. Mathematical constants, physical laws. The source code of reality. You do not fight a fire by shooting at the flames, the general says. You take away the oxygen. The veil's power came from a loophole in existence. A flaw in the basic laws that said reality was negotiable. It was a suggestion, not a command. You see it now. The target was never the crystalline ships. It was never the hive mind itself. That would be like trying to fight the ocean one wave at a time. The target was the water, the very medium in which the veil existed. Dr. Aris showed us the flaw. Kalen continues. Project Red Anvil was our exploit, our patch for the operating system of the universe. We did not build a weapon to fire at a starship. We built a new truth to fire at the heart of everything. The final target appears on the chart. It is not a place. It is a concept. It is labeled the principle of ontological uncertainty. The very rule that allowed things to be erased. The rule that said existence was not guaranteed. That was their target. We aimed at a philosophical concept, Kalen says, a hint of wonder in his own voice. We loaded a new idea into a cannon and fired it at a law of physics. We declared war on the universe's ability to doubt itself. This was the madness of humanity, the sheer, beautiful, terrifying audacity of it. To look at the rules of creation and say, no, that one is wrong, that one needs to change. And we are the ones who will change it. The anvil was the mind of Elias Thorne. A consciousness expanded to contain our collective will. The red was our message, a single screaming command that would overwrite the old rule, a new law for all of creation. He pauses. You can almost feel the entire human race holding its breath, ready to pull the trigger on reality itself. The new law is simple. Existence is not a suggestion. It is a mandatory, unchangeable state. Things that exist cannot be unmade. Life, once sparked, cannot be erased from history. We exist. That is the new truth. The weapon, when fired, will not cause an explosion, the general clarifies. It will cause a consensus, a new agreement across all of space-time. The universe will be forced to accept our terms. Existence will be absolute. Humanity was not fighting for territory or for survival in the traditional sense. They were fighting for the very concept of reality. They were waging a war on nothingness itself. And their bullet was an idea. Their target was a fundamental flaw in the fabric of the cosmos. The final broadcast from Earth was not a surrender. It was not a plea for help. It was the gunshot.